As the years go by, it really seems that cars get more and more expensive, especially for a new vehicle. So finding something that's practical, fully loaded, and under 30 grand is kind of hard these days, but I think this Nissan Kicks is a nice breath of fresh air, and I'm gonna talk about why that is in this review. But if you guys are new to CarGurus, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell. But let's go ahead and jump into this 2021 Nissan Kicks SR. So for 2021, the Nissan Kicks gets a nice update here in the front. So I like this blacked out grille. It basically does a good job of contrasting against this monarch orange metallic paint color. You've got your V-Motion grille, a little bit of chrome accents here, and this actually has full LED lights as well as LED fog lights, which is a nice feature to see. Now coming to the side of the Nissan Kicks, you have these optional 17-inch black alloy wheels. They're about a $435 option, so up to you whether or not you think it's worth it. And it has these really prominent body lines coming right here over the front fender. I really like that. And for another $495, you have these crossbars here up top. So if you live a more adventurous lifestyle, it's definitely a nice option to have. You have this black contrast roof right here, which once again looks good against the orange paint, and then more character lines running down the side of the vehicle. Now coming to the back of the Nissan Kicks, you have this light bar that's going to run all the way across the back. I think it looks pretty good. And earlier I mentioned that these crossbars were part of a package. That package also includes this single exhaust tip, but be careful because it's a very fragile little guy. So under the hood is a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. This kicks out 122 horsepower, and it's only going to the front wheels through a CVT transmission. Now the good news here is that this sips fuel. It gets 31 in the city, 36 on the highway, which is pretty good if you don't care too much about having all the power in the world to get up to speed. It has enough to get out of its own way, but other than that, it's basically a solid A to B. So inside of the Nissan Kicks SR, for the money that you're paying, this is a pretty solid interior. So you've got really soft touch points here on the dash. You have soft touch points here on the armrest, even on the door, pretty soft. Obviously hard plastic in areas that you're really not gonna touch that often down here, but even up here is pretty soft. The seat material is really soft as well. This isn't real leather, but it feels good. Now coming to your touchscreen right here, you're gonna have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a built-in vehicle hotspot as well. And if I hit this camera button, I have a 360-degree camera, and if I hit it again, it's gonna show my front passenger wheel, which is great if you're parking alongside a curb or something like that. You don't curb your wheels. Very nice feature. Right below that, you have heated seats on both sides. You're gonna have a USB and a USB-C for fast charging. You have your parking brake, automatic brake hold. You have an area that looks like it would be a wireless charging pad area, but it's not. Actually, below that, you have this random little button that you can push to turn on and off your ambient lighting, and then you can switch through about 20 different colors. Now, as you move to your cup holders, it may seem pretty simplistic, cup holders, but this is pretty cool. So if I have a pretty tall item, I can sit that there. Now, usually this would move around, but if I wanted it to sit in deeper, I just fold up this little flap and it fits in deeper. But even better than this, if you look at the print, there's actually little shoe prints in there. And I think it's because this is called a Kicks. Shoes, kicks, there's a pair of kicks in there. I had to mention it, and it's amazing. Other notable features are your full suite of adaptive cruise control, which is nice. It has lane departure warning. You have a little digital display over here to the left. Nothing special, but it is nice to mention that you have a digital display. You have a heated steering wheel, which is actually super impressive to see in this car. And of course, you have your Bose speakers in the headrest, which is very nice. Okay, so backseat room. Let's talk about how impressive this is. Now, for reference, I'm 6 feet tall. This is where I was sitting in the front. I have like maybe enough room to squeeze a finger through, which is impressive in and of itself being a subcompact. But once again, 6 feet tall, I've got another almost 3 inches of hair above me, and it's just barely scraping the roof. That is very, very cool for a car of this size. Now, other than that, you don't have much amenities back here. You've got an area to store maybe a water bottle or a thermos in the door. No cup holders here, no rear vents, but you can really tell who this is prioritized to, because the one thing that seems to be a heavy focus are these 2 USB ports to make sure your device is always charged. Now coming to the cargo area of the Nissan Kicks. Now you have about 25.3 cubic feet behind the rear seats. With the rear seats folded down, you have about 32.3 cubic feet. But keep in mind, even with the seats folded down, you do not have a completely flat loading floor in this vehicle. Now, of course, you have your cargo cover, which is just, nice little fabric area right here. You're also gonna have these hooks on either side that's basically for grocery bags or anything that you don't want flying around that you can hook onto there. This hatch also doesn't lift up very high, so if you're really anything above like 5'10", I can see you accidentally hitting your head on this. But other than that, it's a pretty solid storage area, but I really wanna know from you guys, what do you think of the Nissan Kicks so far? Comment below, but let's go ahead and take this for a drive. All right, so driving the Nissan Kicks. Now, the first thing I actually really love about this car is the visibility. It is excellent all the way around. So front visibility is great. Side visibility is really nice. I don't really have a blind spot on my driver's side. On my passenger side, you've got a little blind spot over there, but you do have blind spot monitoring, so that basically helps mitigate that right there. Good size mirrors. The view out of the back is excellent. So all around, visibility is great. Ergonomics throughout the cabin are very nice. All the buttons on the steering wheel are placed very nicely. I like how the buttons stick out so you really know which button is which. And all the buttons feel slightly different, so once you get the muscle memory going for that, it should be pretty easy. Touchscreen is pretty close. If I need to reach for my phone, it is a little bit of a forward reach to get to that little area right there. Obviously, cup holders and stuff is right where I need it to be, and my armrests are very soft. All right, so let's talk about the big thing that people hate about Nissan vehicles, and that is the CVT transmissions. Now, there's a mix. Mixed people hate them because they assume that they're unreliable. I think there have been some cases where they haven't been very reliable, but I don't know. It really depends on how you take care of your car, in my personal opinion. Other than that, the other half is pretty much car enthusiasts saying they don't like it because it's a boring transmission. And the issue with being a car enthusiast like myself is we tend to assume that everyone wants a sporty vehicle, and that's not really the case. Most people just want a solid A to B that stays out of their way, and a CVT does exactly that. It gets you up and moving without any gear shifting happening. You don't have to worry about any of that. You don't have to worry about what gear you're in. You just put your foot down and it just builds up and goes. So very simple. There's no jerking from a transmission, and most people like the smoothness of a CVT, and it utilizes your 122 horsepower very effectively. Now, getting up from a stop, that's foot all the way down, and we got up to about 45. But it's not a ton of power. Once again, you don't come into this vehicle expecting a Lamborghini, not even really expecting anything like a Camry V6, but it is plenty of power to move around town. It's better than some vehicles like a Fiat or something like that. You're not that low on power. However, it could use a little bit more for certain situations like merging onto traffic. However, that just requires a little bit of thinking ahead. So if you're going to pass, go ahead and start getting onto the accelerator, blink over, and then pass the person that you need to pass. Okay, so let's talk about pricing and competition. So pricing, this one starts right around the $20,000 mark, which is very affordable nowadays, especially for anything that's considered an SUV. Now this one as is pretty much fully optioned out for about $27,000, and that's a very good price considering that's just MSRP, not including any discounts Nissan may give you. Now, in terms of competition, you have the CHR from Toyota, you have the HR-V from Honda. It's really the main big leaders in the segment, and then you have this here, Nissan Kicks. Now, let's just be honest, the Toyota and the Honda are both just better quality all around, but they're also more expensive and don't give you as many discounts as Nissan usually does. This is pretty fair for the price, and it has plenty of features that are very usable and very functional on an everyday basis. So if you don't care too much about having slightly nicer plastics, a little bit more sound deadening and things like that, you just want something that's going to give you a good bang for your buck, I really do believe this is a good option. Well, everyone, that's going to wrap up my review of the Nissan Kicks. Arguably, I think this is money well spent depending on what your priorities are. Now, obviously, the biggest downside is the fact that this does not have a lot of horsepower, but if you can make 122 horsepower work for you, I think this offers a lot of practicality and obviously a lot of features for a sub $30,000 price tag. And remember, this is fully loaded. So let us know what you guys think. Would you choose a Nissan Kicks over the competition? If so, let us know in the comment section why, and if not, also let us know why. We just love to hear those debates. But if you guys are new to CarGurus, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and visit us on cargurus.com. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next review.